good, my fellow main characters? I'm your friendly neighborhood buff nerd, BAM! And today, my fellow main characters, I'm going to be taking you guys through a 6-week routine that you can do to get a heavily restricted body like my girl, Maki Zenin.
Just do it!
Let me show you guys what we got going on today. So as usual, we gotta start off with our components for this build. First things first, she has a heavily restricted body. As a personal trainer, guys, when creating a routine for a character, you try to think about what are the things that they're good at? What are the things that they're bad at? How does their physique kind of play into that? When it comes to heavily restricted characters, as is described in Jujutsu Kaisen, these people are literally built to be hacks to the world that they're in. All physical stats, I'm talking about strength, speed, endurance, stamina, flexibility, mobility, reaction time, it's all maxed out naturally. So when thinking about creating a build for Maki, I'm not just thinking about the aesthetic portion of what she looks like. I'm also thinking about how do we make a character that literally is just physically just excellent at everything. When we look at Maki's physique, obviously is very lean, but is also incredibly athletic, right? You could tell that she has musculature on her frame, but it's not bodybuilder style muscle, right? These aren't bulging muscles that restrict movement. These are muscles that are like heavily restricted, engineered to be super optimal, like just the right amount of musculature for maximum power, but not so much that it restricts mobility. She's super strong, super powerful, super fast, right? So we need a routine that allows us to develop strength, a routine that allows us to develop speed, a routine that allows us to develop power, and then also endurance as well. Also, another aspect of her character, because she's heavily restricted, all of her senses are all heightened to beyond superhuman degrees. They're heightened to such a degree that heavily restricted people like Toji, like Maki, are literally able to seek her spirits by not seeing them, but literally by seeing everything else around them to such a high degree. Because of all of their senses are so heightened, even though they can't literally see the cursed spirit, they have so much information about the existence of them based on their senses that they might as well be able to see them, right? All right, moving on, let's talk about the IRL goals that we have. Staying lean, because obviously Maki wants to be able to move. She wants to be able to not have any excess weight on her frame. Build lean muscle, of course. More muscle means more strength, more power, more physical capacity. Increase strength, absolutely. Increase speed, absolutely. Increase flexibility and mobility, absolutely. Improve cardio, and of course be able to recover from injuries. If I'm remembering correctly, Maki was the only person that was able to survive injuries that Jogo created for everybody that was present during the incident there, and that's due to her body having a natural healing factor and natural durability higher than most people. Then unique goals we want to consider for Maki. Maki is a weapons master, right? She's a weapons expert. And then of course, high spatial awareness. Like we want to do things that enhance our ability to be aware of the world around us. Okay, so moving on to the training styles, guys. Again, Maki is your main frontline fighter, bro. That can throw hands, that can blitz enemies, that can take some damage and keep going. So for Maki, I'm making her, here's the thing though, where we kind of have to be a little bit more realistic when it comes to Maki though. Maki still, but she has a very like lean feminine physique. Like she still has curvature. You could tell by her leg mass, especially in a lot of the pictures. She's lean and athletic, but she's not massively bulky. So even though she has high tanking durability, I'm not going to make her a tank, because for this build, we want to stay true to the structure and form that the character has. We're going to compensate for that by going with fighter, striker, and ranger. We're going to use the endurance aspects we build from doing hybrid training, circuit training, and high volume calisthenics to help build our muscle endurance, so that way we can tank hits a little bit better just by having our muscles able to take a beating for a longer period of time. And we have striker for obvious reasons. Heavily restricted people are fast as freak, boy. Like they are hecka fast. And in fighter, because they can throw hands, like they hit like a truck. And then the training structure we're gonna go with is full body. Okay, full body day one. We're gonna start this routine with some skills / power work. And for Maki, I was thinking about what kind of movement patterns would be ideal to get as much factors of what we discussed about Maki's build. First thing that came to my mind that I was really like, okay, I think I'm gonna lock this in, is going to be Olympic weightlifting. So for each day, day 1, day 2, and day 3, we have a skill/power phase that we do before our main workout. And it's going to be centered around one of the different kinds of lifts that you do as an Olympic weightlifter. Olympic weightlifting is fantastic for not only developing strength, but also power, speed, and also muscularity. So the first movement we're doing on day 1 is going to be barbell snatch, 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. It's something I want you guys to keep in mind here. Olympic weightlifting is very technical. It's very important that you take your time and start off with a very low weight and take your time getting to know the form. That's why I set this up as skill/power. All right, so after we do our barbell snatch, now we get into the main workout, which is going to be kettlebell swings. Then we have Renegade rows supersetted with push-ups. Then we have kettlebell burpees, cable face pulls, and then finally finishing it off with farmer's carries, 4 rounds of 30 to 40 meters. Full body day 2, our skill/power workout that we're doing is going to be barbell clean and jerks, 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. Same rules apply to the other Olympic lift that I talked about. Okay, so after we do that, now we have dumbbell squats to shoulder press, weighted dips. Then we have dumbbell RDLs supersetted with bent over rows. Then we have explosive pull-ups. And finally, we're gonna finish it off with some core work, hitting the hanging leg raises for 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Finally, guys, we have day 3, and we have our next skill/power workout, which is gonna be the barbell clean, 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. Rest times for these Olympic lifts is going to be between 3 to 4 minutes. So going into the main workout now, we have kettlebell, dumbbell, front rack, reverse lunges. I know that was a mouthful, but it's definitely going to be great for developing the glutes and also developing that core stability. Then we have landmine rotational press. Then we have single leg machine press. Then we have kneeling single arm cable rows. Finally, for our core, we have ab rollers, 3 sets of 8 to 15 reps. And then finally, guys, to fully complete the vision of Maki in real life, we have that weapon mastery I was talking about before. And so I think a excellent martial art to equip to this routine during your off days would be something like Kali, which is stick martial arts, but the sticks are basically placeholders for any kind of single arm weapon you can use. So it could be swords, machetes, daggers, right? Giving you that ability to develop a skill set that allows you to be versatile with whatever kind of weapon or tool that's in your hand, doing that 1 to 2 times per week to develop the skill. You could also practice Krav Maga if you want to be a little bit more lethal. And then also, I would honestly recommend doing a sport that forces you to track multiple factors at the same time. So that could be basketball, that could be soccer, that could be dodgeball, that could be volleyball. Especially with soccer, because you have a big field and you have multiple people moving around all the time, that's definitely going to work on your spatial awareness. But anyways, my fellow characters, that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. Let me know in the comment section. I can't say comment section. Why can't I say comment section? Jeez. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about this routine. Let me know if there's any other characters that you would love me to create a routine for in the future. Just like this video if it made you smile, comment this video made you think, and subscribe if you want to see more. Always remember, Jesus loves you, and you are the main character of your own story. My name is Bam. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.